Here's something most pastors won't tell you from the pulpit. God actually has a lot to say about money. In fact, Jesus spoke more about money and possessions than he did about heaven and hell combined. Yet somehow, 70% of Christians today live paycheck to paycheck, drowning in debt, and wondering why God isn't blessing them financially. What if I told you that financial freedom isn't just possible, it's actually biblical? And what if the principles to achieve it have been hidden in plain sight this entire time? Welcome to The Truth, where we uncover biblical principles that transform how you live in today's world. I'm not here to sell you a prosperity gospel or promise you'll become a millionaire overnight. That's not what this is about. What I'm going to share with you are 5 powerful, often misunderstood biblical principles that, when applied correctly, will completely transform your relationship with money and set you on a path toward genuine financial freedom. These aren't just theories. These are tested, timeless truths that have worked for thousands of years. Whether you're buried in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, or just want to honor God better with your finances, this video is for you. And here's the thing. These principles work whether you're making $30,000 a year or $300,000. It's not about how much you make. It's about what you do with what you have. So grab a notebook, because what you're about to learn could be the financial turning point you've been praying for. Secret 1. The multiplication principle. You must plant before you harvest. Let's start with the most misunderstood principle in all of Scripture when it comes to money. It's found in 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 6. Whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. Most people hear this verse and think it's just about tithing or giving to the church, but it's so much bigger than that. This is a universal principle of kingdom economics. You cannot reap what you haven't sown. You cannot harvest what you haven't planted. Here's what this means practically. If you want to increase your income, you need to invest in yourself first. That might mean taking a course to learn a new skill. It might mean starting a side business with the little money you have. It might mean investing in relationships that open doors. The farmer doesn't wait until harvest time to decide whether to plant seeds. He plants in faith, knowing the harvest will come. But here's where Christians get it wrong. They're afraid to plant. They're so busy hoarding their seeds, trying to protect what little they have, that they never put anything in the ground. And then they wonder why they're still broke year after year. God's economic system rewards action, not fear. Secret 2. The stewardship test. God watches how you handle little. Secret number 2 might sting a little, but it's one of the most important. God will not give you more until you prove you can handle what you already have. Luke 16, verse 10 says, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. And whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much." This is the stewardship test, and most Christians are failing it without even realizing it. You say you want financial freedom. You want to make more money. You want to be blessed. But look at your bank account right now. Look at your spending habits. Are you being faithful with the $2,000 you make? Are you budgeting? Are you saving anything? Are you giving? Are you spending wisely? Here's the brutal truth. If you can't manage $2,000 well, God's not going to trust you with $20,000. If you're irresponsible with $20,000, you won't see $200,000. The number isn't the issue. The stewardship is that I've seen people making 6 figures who are completely broke because they never learned to manage money properly. And I've seen people making minimum wage who are building wealth because they understand this principle. Financial freedom doesn't start when you make more money. It starts when you become a better steward of what you already have. So here's your action step. Create a budget this week. Track every dollar. Know where your money is going. Eliminate wasteful spending. Start saving something, even if it's just $20 a paycheck. Show God you can be trusted with little, and watch how He opens doors to more. Secret 3. The contentment key. Learn to live below your means. Here's a secret that goes completely against what culture tells you. Financial freedom doesn't come from making more money. It comes from needing less. Philippians 4, verse 11 says, "I have learned to be content whatever the circumstances." And 1 Timothy 6, verse 6 says, "Godliness with contentment is great gain." The average person today is trapped in what's called lifestyle inflation. They make more money, so they immediately upgrade their lifestyle. Bigger house, newer car, more expensive clothes, fancier vacations. They're making more, but they're not getting ahead because their expenses rise at the same rate as their income. This is a trap, and it's one of the main reasons people never achieve financial freedom. They're chasing a moving target. But here's what wealthy people understand that broke people don't. The wider the gap between what you make and what you spend, the faster you build wealth. If you make $50,000 and spend $48,000, you're barely surviving. But if you make $50,000 and live on $35,000, you now have $15,000 a year to invest, save, and build with. That's freedom. The Apostle Paul knew this. He could be content whether he had plenty or whether he had little, because his peace didn't come from stuff, it came from God. When you break free from the need to impress people and keep up with culture, you unlock a level of financial margin that most people will never experience. Ask yourself, what do I really need? What's actually bringing me joy versus what am I buying to fill a void or impress others? The answers to those questions will set you free. Secret 4. The debt-free mandate. The borrower is slave to the lender. Let's talk about something the modern church barely mentions anymore. Debt. Proverbs 22, verse 7 says it plainly. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. Notice it doesn't say the borrower might become a slave or could become a slave. It says is a slave. This is absolute. When you owe someone money, you're not free. You can't make the decisions you want to make. You can't take the job you want to take. You can't give the way you want to give. You're controlled by the lender. The average American is carrying over $90,000 in debt when you include mortgages, student loans, car loans, and credit cards. And they're working 40 to 50 years of their life just to pay interest to banks. That's not freedom. That's financial slavery with extra steps. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but I need a car loan. I need a mortgage. Debt is just part of life. And I'm not saying you can never borrow money, but I am saying that every dollar you owe is a dollar that doesn't work for you. It works for someone else. Here's your goal. Get out of debt as fast as you possibly can. Attack your smallest debts first, build momentum, and work your way up. Stop borrowing for things that lose value. Stop financing lifestyles you can't afford. Every payment you make to eliminate debt is a step toward freedom. Romans 13, verse 8 says, "Let no debt remain outstanding, except the continuing debt to love one another." God's design for your life is freedom, not financial bondage. And you can't walk in the fullness of what He's called you to do when you're chained to monthly payments. Secret 5. The purpose principle. Money is a tool, not the goal. The final secret is the one that ties everything together. Financial freedom isn't about getting rich. It's about having the resources to fulfill your God-given purpose. 1 Timothy 6, verse 17 through 19 tells us, "Command those who are rich in this present world not to be arrogant, nor to put their hope in wealth, which is so uncertain, but to put their hope in God, who richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment. Command them to do good, to be rich in good deeds, and to be generous and willing to share." Notice God doesn't say money is evil. He says putting your hope Indiana money is the problem. Money is simply a tool. It's a resource. And when you manage it God's way, it becomes one of the most powerful tools you have to impact the world for His kingdom. Financial freedom means you can give generously without stress. It means you can support causes you believe in. It means you can take care of your family without anxiety. It means you can start that ministry or business or project God's placed on your heart without being blocked by money. But here's the key. You have to seek God's kingdom first. Matthew 6, verse 33 promises that when you do, everything else will be added to you. Stop chasing money as the goal. Start pursuing your purpose, managing wisely, and using money as the tool it was always meant to be. When you get this right, money stops controlling you. You start controlling money, and that's when everything changes. Let's recap the 5 biblical secrets to financial freedom. Number 1, you must plant before you harvest. Invest in yourself and take action in faith. Number 2, pass the stewardship test. Manage what you have well before expecting more. Number 3, Learn contentment. Lie below your means and break free from lifestyle inflation. Number 4, eliminate debt. The borrower is slave to the lender. Pursue freedom. Number 5, remember money is a tool, not the goal. Your purpose is bigger than your paycheck. These aren't get-rich-quick schemes. They're time-tested, God-honoring principles that actually work. But here's the thing, knowing them isn't enough. You have to apply them. You have to take action. You have to make different choices starting today. Financial freedom is possible for you, not because of luck, not because of some special skill, but because you're willing to align your finances with God's principles and do the work. If this video helped you, do me a favor, share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Subscribe to The Truth for more content that challenges what you think you know and reveals the deeper biblical understanding you've been searching for. And remember, the truth will set you free, but only if you're willing to walk in it. I'll see you in the next video.